Good evening, everyone, and welcome once again to Frankston Community Connect Live, right here on your station on channels. Oh, no, it's not on channel. It's not on any channel, is it? Anyway, I was trying to be really professional and it didn't work. It just made me look stupid, like always. Anyway, I'm going to have a little rant, and it's not so much of a rant as what was said about me by a post when I actually interviewed the twins last week. And I actually had to have a bit of a laugh, although it made me a little bit peed off. Right? I had some person who actually I found out is actually a mad liberal supporter that called me a wolf in sheep's clothing. Right. And they said that all the shows that I've been doing for the candidates that I've been interviewed over the last 2 months was that I was actually doing it as a Labor propaganda. And I'm supporting all of Labor. What a load of poppycock. I couldn't give a crap about politicians. They peed me off to no end. I've got to be nice, right? I've got to love them all, right? But I done it for our community. I interviewed all these candidates over these last few months, right, to actually bring to the community so people knew who they were voting for, right? But look, do I look like a wolf in sheep's clothing? I might be hairy and everything, but I definitely no wolf in sheep's clothing. Anyway, that's enough, right? Because we're going to have a good show tonight. The person I've got on tonight is a mate. All right, we've spent some time together. When my son played soccer, we'll talk about it more. He coached my son, right? And we've spent some time. I've even snuck over to his place and hidden when I was actually supposed to be working in security and bodyguarding, and I wasn't. I was too busy sitting on his boat in his back porch. I will talk about that, right? But I'll tell you what. Like I said, and I said on the promo, and I've said it so many times over these last few years, and I even said to Neil Mitchell to his face that he was the only bogan that was actually in Frankston when he done a live broadcast here, during the state election, because we have a fantastic place in Frankston. We've had some great people, like you saw a couple of weeks ago that I had the Bow Nest twins on, and what a great bunch of kids that actually represent Frankston, but only their talent was beyond anything. They were just fantastic, and being on The Voice and everything like that, right? And we've had Sarah Gardner, right? I can name the list and list, but we've also got some great sportsmen, and that's why I wanted to bring Dougie on tonight, right? His name is Doug Hodgson, or Doug Hodgson. We call him Dougie, right? Dougie was raised in the Pines, and I'll tell you what. Through his journey from the Pines, I'll show you a photo when he was when he was actually playing. Look at him. He looks young and fit there. You should see him now. He looks old and grey like me. No, he's got no grey hairs. Mongrel. So, hi, Prasad. How are you? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to unmute Dougie, and I'm going to bring him up on screen to start with. 1, 2, 3. G'day, Doug. How are you, mate?
Oh, hey, Glennie. You're okay, buddy?
Have you dyed your hair or you just got no grays yet?
Mate, I was cheeky. I was very lucky. I got a phone call that said they had they're not allowed to do beards apparently. They're saying that it'll take me about 30 years to get a beard. And they had someone dropped out. They said, we've got a spot. Do you want your hair cut? I said, no, my kids have been cutting their hair the last 6 months. I said, I'm in. So what they've done, they took the greys off. The greys are gone. I've got a line in the side of me, whichever. They put a line in there.
Mate, lucky you.
So I'm feeling $1 million. Not.
Mate, I went down to get a haircut yesterday and today, and the queues were 10 miles down the road. And I thought, oh, no, stuff. That's why I'm wearing a cap. Look at my hair.
Mate, mine was pretty bad. I have to admit, though, in the barbers, there was 9 barbers going. And they were going hard, mate, and they were just coming in.
Oh, really?
I reckon they're going to be busy for a while.
Mate, I think so. Oh, well, mate, not like Kath. She just got to get her hair done too, doesn't she?
Yeah, the darling wife, she's been complaining, like many women. They've all women going, look at the roots coming in, the colours coming out of my hair. I said, I still love you, honey. It's okay with your greys.
You've been with Kath a long time now, haven't you?
Yeah, 20 years we've been married. You know what day we got married, Glenno?
Huh?
You know what day we got married?
When?
April the 1st.
April the 1st?
And you know what, mate? There's only one fool, and she married me. And the reason I did it is so I didn't forget. Mate, I'll tell you right now, we've been married 20 years. We were in Fiji a couple of years ago for a Boost conference, right? And I've sent her flowers. I've got on the front foot. I've always mixed up. It's the 25th and the 29th. I still couldn't tell you. It's in the phone. It comes up, Kath's real birthday. That's what it actually says. Because I'm in Fiji. I've sent over flowers. I thought, you beauty. I'm in here. Got half a chance when I get back. Anyway, sent it over. The text came back in. She said, it's not my birthday. I said, what do you mean? She said, it's not till Sunday. I said, yeah, I got in early. I knew that. Got in early. So for 20 years, mate, I've been battling what day she was actually our actual birthday here. So she still loves me, bless her. I don't know why, but thousands wouldn't. But,
yeah, mate. As long as you don't forget the anniversary, that's the main thing.
Yeah. Well, we got engaged, being a romantic bloke from the Pines. Wouldn't be many of us. We done all right, us blokes out of there. But Valentine's Day, Eiffel Tower.
Yeah, yeah.
The old softy there, mate. The old tough centre half and nothing in the old snoz. But she said no, I was going to throw her over.
Yeah. Well, mate, I think you're batting way above your weight anyhow, aren't you?
A lot of people have said that, Glenn, and I probably agree. But definitely good, mate. Let's just say the batting average is, I reckon I'll be probably close to Bradman's. I reckon, or Smith's. I reckon I've done that well.
Yeah. Well, she can join that fine group of women like that. What's her name? The one up in Sydney?
I know who you mean. I know who you mean. Yeah, send her up. Say, well, she got me. So she got me. I understand, bloke from the listen. And this is a true story. She met Michael Jordan. She worked for Nike in Mizuno. So she was looking after Liverpool, England, internationals. And no disrespect, they're up here, mate. Some of them boys, one of the boys was on £29,000 a week back then. And that was back in the 90s, £29,000 a week. And the story of that goes, I won't name the name, but the next Liverpool and Everton player. Anyway, we went out for tea when I went back over a few years back to see my surgeon. Anyway, went out, there's a picture up him on the wall, Scotland shirt signed. And we got chatting away, and you never talk money. Anyway, he's thrown in the 29K. Anyway, went to pay for dinner. He's pulled out the credit card. Bless his soul, he tried. Said, cash only, no credit cards. Dukester, have you got any money? I paid for tea. He got me a cracker. So some good memories out there, buddy. Some great memories.
Right. Well,
but like I was saying, she dealt with some really big names up here, and then she got me down here. The boy from the Pines.
But because she was very high promotions or something, wasn't it?
She won marketing manager for Nike of the whole of Europe. And I'll tell you this straight, I don't know what she did. But I used to say, it's an easy job, you just give stuff away. But she'd done all the shoot magazines, the match magazines, which is a huge soccer magazine in the UK, still going to this day. David Platt was one of her. David Platt's a legend of England. He was on the bus. That's all her marketing and all that sort of thing. She ended up, when she came back, she worked for Mains Health. You know, the high five in hospitals where you see the hygiene, high five? Yeah. That's her work. Her and her group out of the Monash. She was in Monash for a while. So she ain't that smart, mate. She married me. So,
yeah, I know. Well,
I told her I could cook, I could clean. In fact, I just lied. I just said I can do lots of things.
Typical Pines boy.
Yeah, 20 years later, we're still together.
Anyway, Dougie.
Go on, mate. Great to see you, though, buddy. It's been a while, though, mate.
Yeah, it's been a while, mate.
I hear you're doing some great things, too, with the fishing.
Yeah, yep, and it's haven't been able to do much because of this damn COVID.
Yeah, it's knocked everyone for six.
But this is how this started off, because I was bored and I was actually hosting a couple of fishing shows.
Yep.
And I thought, what am I going to do? right? So I spoke to a couple of people in our committee, right?
Yep.
And I said, why don't I do a live show, bringing all these mental health organisations in for the community, talking to a couple of these politicians, which
Apparently.
apparently, but also just people in testimonies. Like that's why I got you on tonight, Dougie, because right, it's actually good to have a good-hearted story, right? Because I know that you've had your struggles over the years. I know you're still having them, right?
It's funny, mate, because we all put on a good face.
Yeah, I know.
We've all got broad shoulders, and we always find a smile, bit of humour, but you nearly got to, and I'll say it out loud later on when we get chatting in a bit more depth, but I nearly called you today, last night, this morning, not a good day at the office.
No, I didn't think.
But we soldier on, and we'll talk about that a bit more in depth, and I like my heart up to people and see if we can help people and what we go through and what we've been through all, because everyone's got a story in life.
They certainly haven't. Look, you've gone through a few major dramas in your life, right? Let's talk a little bit about your childhood growing up in the Pines, from Monterey Primary School to Monterey Tech and et cetera and et cetera.
It was mum and dad came from England. Obviously, that's how I got the dual passport, the English, born in Frankston Hospital. Mum and dad, 66, 65, I think, with a community in the Pines. We know the strongest community. There's the goosebumps. There's the hair standing up, and I'm talking about the Pines now. Mate, it's the community in the Pines where the Scottish, there was the Poms, the Irish, there was all sorts of nationalities, as we know. And the soccer club was there, the cricket club, the footy clubs, and so on. So I can talk about the soccer club and tennis club because I was involved very heavily. Obviously, as a kid growing up, I played there, but my dad was. And going to school was great. But if I go back and look at the age of 51 now, and I talk about, it's more the community that we had. Now, I can put hand on my heart here, the gang we had been at the primary school. We had a gang. It was Gordon Hendry, played 500 games for Pines Footy Club. I sponsored him and his sons for a few years. Gordon, they resigned, obviously retired not long ago. Gary Smith, Kenny Rust.
Yeah.
There was four of us, Stephen Brown. But if you look back at them sort of people, they've all done well.
Yep.
There's a couple off the rails, as we do, but that's in any walks of life, you know what I mean? But and I'll put this on the record, we are still friends.
Yeah.
The blokes that I've known since I was 5-year-old, my mate that I grew up, Dean Kavanagh, who was next door to me, he's still one of my best mates at 51 years of old. So what I'm saying is the community that we had and the bond that we had, that the Pines in that era, and we were young. Don't get me wrong, there's people before, like we'll talk about the Mark Dunsford, the Jeff Fegos was involved at the Pines the footy club and the cricket and bits and pieces. They're beyond my age without talking down to Dunny and obviously Jeff because I'm younger. But but the story goes, we've never lost that community. And I put it down to, and I can't give my kids an education because I left school at 15. Street smart, yeah, I'll throw that at you. But you turn around and you go, morals, manners and respect. At our age, if we're at the footy or cricket or soccer club, we stepped out of line, we'll get a clip behind the ears. Mm-hmm. We were wrong. So Pines Soccer Club was a lot for me. I started playing soccer at 4 years old. Dad was involved in the club. Obviously, that's where they used to go for the dances on a Saturday night back then.
Yeah.
And away they would go, the old Pines Soccer Club. My dad's a life member there. And obviously, Big Gordon Hendry's dad, Big Stewie. Come on. If everyone's heard Big Stewie singing Come on the Pines, you could hear him at the Pines Footy Club. Singing his song. And there's Gary's dad was there, Scottish. There's your Scottish background. But they all connected. And we all connected. You would think that we were told we had to be friends, but we didn't. It just became that way in the community. So Pines, in its own community, Glenn, I'll say this hand on heart, it built a lot of friendships out there that's never been broken. Never been broken. And that's something I wear. Friendship for me in life, there's the goosebumps that popping up. Friendship to me is one of the most valuable things that I'll take with me to my grave with my mates. You know what I mean? Because when you've got friends for 50 years or 45 years and you've been to school for each other and you've been to secondary school, you punched on, not at each other, but against others. The old gangs are out there. That don't happen. Scruffles were there. I think Pines Footy Club was probably a pretty tough environment to be in, not the soccer, because we were wog ball players.
Yeah, no.
It was definitely so. The Pines Soccer Club had a lot to do with Doug Hodgson.
Yeah, no, it certainly has, and you're actually up on the memory boards up there at the Pines. All right, so you're trying to read some of the comments. Squizzy said to say hello. No swearing, no f-bombs.
I just had to check myself. I haven't dropped one yet, have I?
No. Mate,
I'm 51. I'm going to look. Hang on, Squeeze.
No,
I can see hi. Glenn said she's all right. Taylor's looking out there. You're okay.
yeah, mate. No, we haven't dropped any f-bombs yet, mate.
No,
mate, don't worry. I lost it a couple of weeks ago when I was interviewing someone, and I actually used the f-bomb. I went berserk and said, "This is not the f-bomb pouring to come up with your political bullshit."
We'll do the R-rated section later on.
Yeah, when it's only me, you and around.
But it was. I always remember going. We talk about school. We talk about being the rounders and kiss chasing and all the stuff growing up, mate. Because it's different than the kids now than what we had. It's what we had. What we had was pretty special. And I wouldn't change it for a world, Glenn. What we had, and like I said, my friendships with all them mates are still there.
Yeah,
we still keep in contact. So. It's just fantastic. And then, well, let's go Monterey Tech. Well, that's a different cat. That's a different beast. Police. We weren't allowed to dink. Remember they brought out the dinking laws?
Yeah.
Kenny Ruston and I, and we're on his green. What bike was it? It was a flash bike anyway. I'm on the front. He's pedaling away. Coppers pulled up alongside us. You too. Yes, officer. Over we went. What are you doing? Made us walk. As soon as the coppers out, bang, we're back on the bike. We got to school on time. It was early in the mornings, but coppers used to be around a fair bit. But I think I dodged a bit of the error being 51. I reckon probably 4 or 5 years before my time was probably a little bit naughtier.
Yep. No, you're a bit right, mate. You're a bit right. But that's a good thing about the Pines, right? Right, because we're going to talk a bit more about you soon, right? And your days of playing and the days you were told that you couldn't play, right, at the age of 15. But, being raised up in the Pines, right, I'm a Sydney boy, as you know. But
we won't hold that against you.
Yeah, right on. But don't worry, mate. I've been involved with the Pines Soccer Club. Got a real soft spot for me because, as you know.
That's where we met.
No, that's where we all met and things like that. And but the Pines, and what I've noticed in the Pines, and even the work that I've done, in the community itself, right, working with a lot of the people and a lot of the troubled kids and the youth in Monterey High. Yeah, Squizzy's still at it. See,
just had a look. If you'd hey Squizzy, if you'd been on time, son, you would have heard the story. I got my hair cut today.
Yeah, I'm not going to his barber, bud.
No, I wouldn't say. You left which way? You left the line in it, Squiz. I'm going thin up there, Squiz.
But no, it's a special bond that any people that get involved with the Pines, whether it be in the soccer or the footy or anything at all with the Pines, it actually becomes a strong bond between people.
I think, Glenn, and I've said before, I think, mate, it comes back to the community. Like, let's be fair. Like, I live in Snobville, right? I can snake Snobville because that's what I used to call it as a kid, Mount Eliza. That's what I call it. Where do you live, Snobville?
Yeah.
Well, when I was a kid, they were snobs. Now, I'll put my hand. I hope I'm not a snob, and if I ever am, feel free to slap me. But there's some great people in the village and up here as well. Don't get me wrong.
No,
but my roots are at the Pines. The people, even Colin Mitchell's and Tommy Mitchell. Tommy Mitchell's been at that club. He's the groundsman. Gee whiz, Tommy's been there since I was 4. He's been there nearly 40 or 50 years. 50 years.
How long's the club been going for? 50. Squizzy, answer it. How long's 50?
51.
53 years.
It'd have to be 55 to 60.
Yeah. Well, Tommy's been a member of that club since the day it opened.
Correct.
Right, so that's how long.
Because they put a scoreboard on him.
Yep.
Tommy Mitchell scoreboard, which is what a fantastic for him. You cut Tommy bar hearts.
Yeah.
He's a Pines boy through and through, and the Mitchell brothers. They grew up there. We've all grown up in the Pines.
That's right.
And it's made us some successful people who came out there. Some millionaires out there, mate. There's some great people, good work ethic. But they taught us that. That was taught from our parents and the community around us. We stepped out of line. A parent would have a word to my mum and dad. They keep an eye, like being intoxicated at school at the grade 6 is probably not the best thing, but our parents knew before we did.
Yeah. Mate, 55 years, Carol, has just been put up. 1965.
There you go.
I know.
The Bonners. I think the Bonners were some of the foundation people.
Yep.
And I'm just trying to think. There used to be the old pitch was the other way. There was an old, like Langwarren Soccer Club, that had an old shed.
Yep.
And all the rest in there, mate. It's some great memories, though. It's, like I said, I'm going back to friendships, but some really good. And as a kid, getting in the changing rooms, and Dad was president there for 15 years. My father was. So I've been involved in soccer, realistically, all my life.
Yeah.
Which is good, but also bad. Depends which way you want to look at it. A lot of people will talk about and say, you must this. Yeah, but there's a bit of hatred in there as well, mate.
Yeah, no, not everything. Not everything's painted in gold. I mean, that's
not against the Pines. That's about the sport in general.
Right. But anyway, let's get back to playing at the Pines, mate. I've taken it down because I needed room, but I've got a little photo. I had to put a photo up today, one that I found of you, and you must have only been about
under nines.
Under nines, yeah. Right, and you're sitting there with your long hair and holding the ball.
Do you see that trophy in front of us?
Yeah, I saw it, yep.
That was called the Alexander Trophy.
All right.
Undefeated in 3 years. That whole team was. Jimmy Campbell, bless his soul, he's no longer here. Brian Jackson, he's Jacko, he's Anthony Jackson's father. He's no longer with us. He died pretty early at 55 from a heart attack, probably from the Pines.
Yeah.
Bless him soul. BJ, sorry about that, mate. He was a goalkeeper at the Pines, but Alexander Trophy. Now, that came from the Alexander. If you remember the old Pines, the bounty shop, which used to be called the Alexander.
Yeah, yep.
Dad asked, Dad got into him and about the trophy to whatever, apparently, and obviously the club, it was called the Alexander Trophy, and whoever won games successfully, and I think each year, whoever won the league, they got presented with them. So we won it 3 years in a row, and I think it was 9, 10 and 11s, I think it was, or 8, 9s and 10s, but we went undefeated for 3 years. We had a great, I've just mentioned Andrew Cameron and Gordon and Rusty and Smitty, the boys. So not only did we go to school together, we played soccer together.
Yeah. So it was a bunch of mates all sticking together, but not at school, but punch-ons and...
Well, the gangs, we did. We did, Coringle, Pines, Seaford. Seaford wasn't too bad. I think more Coringle. And the Pines, we probably punched on a bit, and we had each other's back.
Yeah.
It was one in, it was all in.
Right, but you just went to school and you played together.
We did. We played together on, and then what happened is we got to about the age of 13, and like Big Gordo. I call Big Gordo. We all have our nicknames.
Yeah.
Big snot face. Love him the bitch. 6'5", hands like shovels, mate. Played 500 games of footy. And you talk about accolades, any sport, playing 500 for the one club. What about the loyalty?
Yeah,
what I mean? The loyalty of that bloke, 500 games, and honoured to be part of that, to see him play it, which was fantastic, So Big Gordo decided, Kenny Russ decided, so the team broke away. Some went and played footy, some kept playing soccer. And that was about the age of 13 and that's 14, about 13, 14. So we drifted apart, not at mucking around but just sport.
Yeah, sport. Yeah, because not everyone likes soccer.
No, they don't like the wog ball, as they call it, and a lot of the old area ping pong ball we'll call the other one.
Do you know that's not very politically correct? You're not allowed to say wog ball anymore.
Yes, but I played round ball. Hey, I can say it because half my mates were wogs.
Yeah, I know. Well, a lot of my mates are wogs too.
And lovely ones too. I love them to bits.
Mate, you get involved with soccer, you got a lot of wog mates.
Well, listen, how'd I go? I played at Heidelberg, coached at Preston, and also played at Heidelberg. That's Preston Macedonian, the Greeks, mate. They had a 50,000 walk. And the next day, mate, the helicopters, riot vans, and all sorts back
Oh,
in the
mate.
90s.
We'll talk about it a bit later because, mate,
Let's go back to me. We haven't got out of under fives yet. So, how long did you say we've got to talk for?
oh, mate, I said it now, but if it goes a little bit longer, who cares? Right? But, hey, mate, the whole thing about it is too, mate, like, we can tell some stories, mate, about bringing security guards in when the Croatians come down and we had a couple of serves for the team. Mate,
The good old Pines were all right. But the thing is, though, what we did find, though, and you're talking about the people mixing together, though, Glenn, is then you got the cricket club.
yep.
That's an interesting one. So a lot of people should know this, but boys that played cricket were the ones that played footy and the ones that played soccer. So the likes of Nathan Burke, another big name.
Yep.
Fielder legend. Brendan Moore, played for Essendon, another big name. I played cricket with those two.
Yeah. Yep.
So me and Berkey, we used to thing called a double wicket. They used to call us. Nathan and I won that together. But we all played through, and we won under. It's funny because I'm going through some stuff, and it's been in a suitcase. All my memorabilia, it's been in a suitcase. All my clippings has been in the roof for 20 years. Nothing hasn't came out. If you'd walked into our house, you would know that I was a soccer player.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So, but anyway, what I'm saying is the boys play cricket, so you got some good names. You know, you're talking about Berkey out of the Pines, good cricketer, good football player. So we all had hand-eye coordination, so it was fun, the cricket.
Right, well, let's get into talking about you playing your juniors, then you've got to talk about 15. What happened there?
So at under 13s, under 12s, I had trials to play for Victoria. Now, anyone who doesn't know soccer, you got defence, you got midfield, you got strikers. I was a striker. Big Stewie, he was the linesman. I don't think you'd call this cheating, but everyone who knows the offside rule, you'd get offside calls. What's your offside? Well, Stewie was the linesman. He'd yell out, yeah, dog, which means I was close to offside. So, I wouldn't call that cheating. I was just that advantage you. So at the age of 12, I was banging in goals for fun. And we had a good team, which means they were feeding me. So you can't score goals on your own, as you know. It's a team game. So I scored a lot of goals as a kid. Under 13s, I represented Victoria. Under 12s, I made 100 in cricket at the Pines. I made 88. I made 71. As a cricketer, I found my cap on the weekend. I've got my bat that Ray Driscoll's father, which is Ray Senior, he signed it against YCW, made 100 under 12s. There was no retiring then. My dad reckons I was a better cricketer than a soccer player. That was just, he thought I could make it as a cricketer. Who knows? A lot of people probably disagree with that, but I was making runs as a kid. Old Trumpy would say, living through your juniors, son, you're shit now. That's old age. Old Trumpy. But so juniors, 13s, I reckon I was probably at my prime with soccer, and then we start getting the word of growing. 14s, I still played for Victoria, represented. 15, I got to represent Victoria, but I got in through, one boy was injured and I came in. Now, we were Australian championships for 2 years in a row, and if under 13s, we were runners up against New South Wales. How that works was Victoria, you play all your states. First one was Tasmania, second one was Queensland, the third one we played in WA. From there, these boys went to under 16s and represented the country.
Right.
A lot of boys played out of ours. Paul Trimboli, big name. Me and Trimmers played up front for Victoria. Paul went and played for South Melbourne, Australia. Didn't go overseas. Probably the most, I think, probably could have went. He would have done very well, Glenn, in Europe. Probably not the English league, because I'll say this on record, it's probably one of the toughest leagues in the world, physically and mentally. Europe, I'm not saying Europe's any weaker or anything else, but it's tough. England's a tough league, so it's a physical league. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So at the age of 15, life was okay. I won Frankston North Junior Tennis Champion in the under 15s before my car accident. So I played cricket, I played soccer, and I played tennis. That was all I did. Mr. McGurr, never forget him. Still alive. and my next door neighbour, a man called Bert Kavanagh, they were sheet metal teachers.
Right.
And he said to me, he says, Doug, I hope you're good at soccer. I said, why is that, Mr. McGurr? He said, because I can't see you doing anything else. And to be fair, so was I. People have different aspects of life and what they want to do. And we go back to that when we talk about business, what drives people. So I ended up 15. We got invited to Stevie Campbell. His father was the coach. His sisters, which were a few years under her, were having a party. At 15 years old, we decided to hop into a car. As we do, 7 of us, in a little Datsun 120Y.
7 in one of those.
Yep. The lady that was driving, one of the girls that was taking us to the party, they had the 2 girls, Amanda and the girl driving. They had horses on our farm. We had a chicken farm. So Dad bought a chicken farm for obviously just up in Potts Road. So
Yep.
I was doing a couple of days. It's obviously later on, before the car accident, I was at school, got to this, and then what happened was Hartnett Drive and Seaford Road. It's funny, mate. I drive, because my work's in Seaford, one of the businesses in Seaford, Carron Grounds. I drive past there every day.
Yeah, right.
Still gives me the tingles. December the 1st, and I'll go back to what December the 1st means to me. It's an ugly day, and I don't like it. So we were going, car came, there's traffic lights there now. The car hit us at 100 k's. Hit us. Car. I've got scars. I've got little scars around in here. I must have put my hand up as the glass came. 7 of us in the car. The girl driving broke her back. Big Gordo. He had 52 stitches. He's lying better than that. That's his whole scar goes right the way. We call him Flip Top. He had 50 odd stitches in his head. My mate Dean, my best mate, died twice. Open heart surgery, spleen removed, fractured pelvis. He survived. They pulled him back off the table.
Right.
I had severe whiplash. I had 4 broken teeth, fractured jaw, 3 fractured ribs, and obviously ligaments and that in my back. So life was pretty pear-shaped. I still remember the day I don't remember the accident, but I remember my brother finding me up the top of the hill as you go up Seaford Road.
Yeah.
Before you start going onto the freeway.
Yep.
We're up there. So we got hit. Dean was in a bad way. Obviously, the car was split in half. Apparently hit us, spun us and hit us again. So, but we all lived to tell the tale. As a youngster, I was I wasn't a fighter. I wasn't aggression. I was a centre forward. You don't see many centre forwards kick people, if that makes sense. They don't tackle, is a better word, Glenn.
Yeah.
So, obviously, had me accident and went through and through. They found a month later I had broken ribs, started at the egg farm, so I was trying to work on there. I left school. I was only doing 3 days a week at school and 2 days, but I couldn't work with the neck. I wore a neck brace for 2.5 years.
Jeez.
And I'll never forget, there was Malcolm Scott. He passed away. He was a doctor at the hospital, and he said to me, C3 and C4, which is in your neck and ear, he said, that'll need fusion one day. And basically left that 3 years, started seeing a psychologist at the age of 16 at the Royal Children's Hospital, taught me how to try and relax the body. We tried different, went into TA, hospitalised, Transport Accident Commission Hospital, manipulated my neck wrong, ended up sending me home in a worse way than I went in. So that turned our life pretty much upside down, kept going and going. Obviously the boys, we all have our different stories and scarrings, for that day. Big Gordo ended up having a stroke when he was 29 playing footy.
Yeah.
Did hand on heart, did that have something to do with his car accident? We don't know. Who knows whether the big fella, if it happened that way, Dean's got, big scars through here. We still my best mate. So it was definitely testing times. Bloke for a stop sign, no fault of ours. And I was told, you won't play soccer again. He said, not over, your neck the way it is, obviously your body. Got to about 16 and a half, 17, and I actually turned to martial arts. I went and done Zen Kai down at Billy Monane's. Enjoyed the fitness. It was hard. It was tough. Not hard and tough, but it was hard on my body. And I pushed through and I kept pushing through because being a soccer player or a sportsman, whatever you want to do, it's your adrenaline. You want to keep going. It drives you. I was just trying to get on the other end. I was just trying to get to the other side. I didn't play again until I was 19.
Oh, really? That long?
19, yeah, 19. I ended up back at Pines.
Yep.
18 or 19. It was 18 or 19. So I had a few years out. Struggled a little bit. Let's just say the little pretty boy that kicked soccer goals became an angry head. And I got into martial arts, and at the age of 18, I started doing security, bouncing. So,
I'll do.
yeah, which is, I used to work at the cruise club, Phillip
Yeah.
Island, the Isle of Wight. Eddie Murphy, which is not the Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy plays soccer. He's a Peninsula boy, Kringle boy. Wayne Collins, they all trained, and I was coming through and working up. I used to train out in my backyard. We had a decent games room, I had a bag, a floor-to-ceiling ball, a speed ball. I done it for fitness because it was something I could do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was more letting, I suppose, the desire or the passion or the explosion or the adrenaline, getting it out of your body. You could, where the hatred was and the bits and pieces, I used to hit the bag.
Yeah.
And the mind's a very strong thing. And I've always been, and maybe it's to do with the martial arts and the way they teach you. You can go really deep into it. Like Billy Manane, I don't know how many Dan he is now, but he's still going in Overport Road. It taught me a lot about mind and thoughtfulness and having the well-being of the hospital, which was given psychologist, not a psychiatrist, psychologist, giving you ways of dealing with certain things, helping me through that side of things. And I remember a night I was in the pub in the Grand Hotel, Leggies. And a fight kicked off, and the rush of blood, it just went from my toes to my head, and I exploded. And I never forgot it. I went home and I said to my mum and dad, I said, I need help. I need help. I need help. So there's a lot of, I suppose, frustration, anger, all the things, and 18, you're an 18. My boy's 17 now. How to deal with it, I wouldn't have a clue. Would anyone know how to deal with it, This is why we see the specialists that can guide you, talk to you, help you. They're the ones you need to, So at the age of 18, 19, there was a young boy with an angry head on his shoulder. Don't get me wrong, I wasn't misbehaving or doing anything that I shouldn't do, but I was very, the kid that was 15 to the kids that's now 18, 19, especially on the soccer pitch, I loved it because I could get away with not dirty. And then I'd hope to put my hand on my heart, and a lot of people out of respect would say he wasn't a dirty player, he was a hard player. And the more we talk into it, you'll figure out, it was hard because the bodies took the punishment for it now. That's always take the man straight afterwards. But that was my way of going, you know what? That's me expressing myself, getting the anger out of all the things that I couldn't do. So it was definitely testing time for an 18, 19-year-old.
Yeah.
So, but we got through. We pushed through. Started playing cricket again. There was Steve Johnson Carpets, another successful businessman. And this is where the Pines Cricket Club come into play with me. Going back into there, used to play with some great blokes in there, JL, Bones. And, like I said, I was playing in the twos, opening the batting, and then playing in the ones, getting a run in the ones, coming in 3 and 4. But the likes of Jono, Chuck, there was Norris. He's a very successful businessman in States. So they'll take you under your wing. You know what I mean? They'd help you. They'd guide you. It was, and you go back to a cricket club here. Also, these boys play footy. You know what I mean? So if you were out of line, they'll give you a clip too. So either way. So but you look back at that, Glenn, they helped. They guided you. So the people like myself and other younger kids, they took us under their wing. Brendan Moore worked for Jono for years. So he was, he played up at Essendon. So we looked up to these people. We respected them, and they respected us. So, did they see something in us and thought we're not bad kids? They're only 19, and away we went. So I got back playing at Pines. That's where I started again. Played my cricket, played a bit of tennis. I ended up having a year at Dufton, which was the Premier League back then. Pines. So Pines had, if you look at Pines' history, mate, they've won, the promotions they got 4 years in a row. Well, I was a kid. The Dennis Bennetts, the Pauldings, Georgie Malcolms and all the rest of it. What they done for that club was fantastic.
Yeah.
Stan Webster, we know Stan. Well, he posted something on my Facebook page today. He said, "Don't forget to mention your driving instructor." I said, "Yeah, I reckon you pushed me over the edge." I said, "It was your fault." So,
Was he your driving instructor?
yeah, that's where Stan was. Yeah, he was Stan. And he ended up becoming my assistant at Richmond when I came back from England for coaching. And Stan and I worked together and very well. So lovely man.
Yeah.
So we ended up, and you talk about resilient, you talk about life and knockbacks. And at 19 years old, I thought I'd seen it all. That's the start. So, you get to the stage, you go, right, so 19, played a year at Dufton, had a good year. We won one game. It's like we won the FA Cup, mate. It was fantastic. We won the FA Cup, but it wasn't the FA Cup because we won the last league game of the year. But out of that year, I had a great year at Heidelberg, which is the A-League now, which is the old National League. So Heidelberg came in. Gary Cole was the coach, and I've got utmost respect for Gaz. He's a bit of a father figure to me as well.
Yeah.
Cole, he was Victory, football managing director of Melbourne Victory and also Sydney.
Yep.
Been involved at the Play for Australia, coached at the AIS, but we love Gaz to bits, and I still keep in contact with him now. But and I'll come back to that. So we had a year at Heidelberg, and I had a great year. I struggled during the year, and I nearly quit halfway through it. My back was playing up, and my mum, I'll never forget my mum saying to me, well, you're playing at the highest level in Australia, you've done well to get to where you've got, and maybe this is what you've got to do. But me, Glenn, no doesn't come in my vocab. Someone says no to me, I say, right, let's see how I can do it. It's always been that way. The driven part of with your sport, your relationships, your work, your kids, what do you value success? Everyone's got their own level of success. I think I like just to prove people wrong when they say you can't do it. I don't know if that's stupidity, stubbornness, or the will to win, whichever way you want to do it. So we ended up character. Resilient character. It's there's strong words, aren't they, mate?
They certainly are.
So from there, Glenn, we got over to off-season Sunshine's George Cross. Was a man called Ken Wagstaff, Hull City legend. I was there, and he said, "Listen, I want to send you to Hull City." I said, "Mate, this is my dream. This is my dream. I've got an opportunity to go and play in England because as a kid, all I wanted to do was be a professional soccer player. That's all I wanted to do." 15, I was told you're never going to be a professional soccer player. That's ripped the heart out of everything. So turned around and we go, right, let's have a crack. I went to Hull, 6 weeks, done pre-season. They offered, you got to remember, Heidelberg paid nothing for me.
Right.
I'd been there for the season, had a great year. They slapped $140,000 on my head.
Oh, really?
That's what they wanted, $140,000. And I'd go, well, so Hull City ended up offering the club £20,000, which back then was 50,000 Australian, plus add-ons. They didn't have the money in the club either, so they give you the best they can. Heidelberg said no. So here's me in England, came back, as you will, had the shits. I'm turning around to them and going, well, why can't, well, done this, done that. No. So actually, my dream move, for everything I'd gone through, had just been taken away from me. To say I was pissed, might have been an understatement.
Yeah, I could imagine.
Disappointed, angry, frustration. They're all back there again, they're magic words, mate, that set you up for a fall.
Yeah.
So, you turn around and you go, what am I going to do? Do I just sit there? Do I swallow it? Do I roll my sleeve up and have a go again? After throwing my toys out the pram, I basically thought, well, I better have another crack. So I did. So from there, got back playing, and I was still doing security, which was fine. Had a run-in with the law down in Mornington. And they wanted to have a little chat with me, and I thought I got an opportunity to go and play in Perth. And I thought, you know what, Glenn, that might be a good time to leave the state. So it we were only scrapping. So no one was injured, no hurt, bits and pieces, but no doubt they would have got me charged with probably assault or unlawful assault, whatever it would have been. So I'd done a runner to Western Australia.
Yep.
They rang Mum. Mum said, he lives in Perth now. If you want him, go and find him. Sheffield United toured. Friday the 13th at the Wacker. Yeah, that's WA's Wacker, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it is.
I think it is. WA, Friday the 13th. I knew they were coming, and I thought, you know what, this is my time. Dedication, stepped up the training. All between these times, I'd had a brain scan when I'd left Pines, had a bit of fluid on my head, clash of heads, and so you still setbacks of natural sports people and injuries. That's what you do. So we turned around and got over there, played against Sheffield United, had a blinder, had a great game. And the bloke came up to me, a big man called Gary Bongo Williams. He said, how much is on your head? And I knew what was on my head. I said, 140,000. He said, right. So they flew me out to Newcastle, played against them there. And there's a boy playing there. These boys had just been relegated out of the Premier League. Sheffield United had been, 6 weeks earlier, they're playing against Liverpool, playing against Everton. They're playing to get the boys of the high league, and these have just been relegated out of here. So these guys are on a bender. Absolute blind. Their calls are going, boys, 10 minutes and we're on it. We're playing against Australia, under 23s, and you could hear big Brian Gale, big Wimbledon crazy gang, Vinnie Jones and the boys. They were from the crazy gang. And you turn around and you hear Galing, boys, in 10 minutes, we're officially on it. So the boys are they're basically into it, and they're on the alcohol, and here's me fighting for my career. So dedication, they went out, nights, they were partying, they were on the holidays. So I ended up slept well, came in. Couldn't have timed it any beautiful. The boys were going out, and I was in my shorts up in Queensland. The gaffer, which is Dave Bass, where are you going? So I'm going to bed. I said, they're going out. I'm getting a hot chocolate and going back to bed. 2 a.m, gaffer. So he's obviously looked and thought, yep, likes the big fella, and they offered me a deal. So they paid 30,000 down payment. They paid another 20 after 30 games, and then another 20 after 50 games. So if you Google, it says 36, but trust me, I know it was over that because I had 30% in there of my cut. So that's how we worked the contracts out. So that's what we did. So I got to England. I finally got there. It was a battle. I was 24 at this stage. First training session, good, got into it. We went to Norway, we went to Switzerland. We travelled a bit of Europe, obviously pre-season. We had 8 games in 10 days. And basically got back, lived in a hotel for 3 months, trained well, played well, got a debut. The bloke I lived with up at training, bang, chalky elbow, got me right in here, smashed my nose right across me. So breathing was a bit difficult, so they operated. 32 days later, I left hospital.
Oh, really?
I hemorrhaged, kept hemorrhaging. I was allergic to anti-inflammatories, and they couldn't figure out why. So I had cocaine up my nose, and this is when Paul Merson, I don't know if you know, played for Arsenal.
Oh.
Paul Merson playing for Arsenal he ended up being a cocaine addict, and it came out in the press and bits and pieces. And I'd done an interview on the radio. They said, how you going, Doug? I said, yeah, different between me and Paul Merson. He paid for these, and I didn't. I got dragged into the gaffer's office. He says, mate, you can't say that on the national radio. I said, what you did? I said, no. I said, mate, so, and away we went. So I end up, there's another setback, another knockback leg, you've gone all your life, you're over there. I had 5 months out of the game.
All right.
I had 5 months out of the game. So it was definitely you're learning. It's over a different pace of the game. You're talking 20, 30,000 people at games. The following year was a better year, 95, 96, 96, 97 was a better year again. So you get your injuries, your knocks and bits and pieces. So he's a boy from Frankston in 1996, 97 at Liverpool, Christmas Day. Yeah. I'm looking around and I pinched myself. I went, look where I am. You're talking with the Redknaps, the Fowlers, the Michael Owens. They're all there. And you just feel bad when you're going, this is reality. Hairs were growing up. I thought, fantastic, But you still don't, as a player, look back and say, you've made it. I was in and out of the team. There's 1 week, man of the match.
Yeah.
And then the next week, I'm out. You know what I mean? So trying to find a position and staying in that position, it's hard yards. You know, there was 48 pros at Sheffield United, 48 fighting for 11 positions.
Yeah.
So was there fights at training? Yeah, there was some bust-ups and bits and pieces. At the end of the day, you're fighting for your livelihood. You want to win. You want to get on that track. You want to forget the money. It's about getting out there. You want to play. I'm 12,000 miles from home. I got homesick the first year. They sent me home for 10 days. Apparently the gaffer came in and said, do you want to go home? Apparently I went, no. I was going that way, and I said no. So it was good. So we got back. So out of them 48, new manager came in, 22 on the transfer list.
Yeah, right.
21 went. Howard Kendall, he's an Everton legend. Rest his soul, another one passed away, but we played Aston Villa, 96-97, fifth round of the FA Cup. Played at Highbury the week before against Arsenal. Played against Arsenal. There was Burkamp, Adams, Seaman. They were up there, the best of them. One of the best grounds I've ever. Marble flooring with underfloor heating back in the 90s. That's how fantastic it was, mate. It was beautiful. So we get there, and I said to my dad, I rang him, and I said, it's make or break. I've got 3 months to go on my contract, mate. It's going to get me in there, or he's going to get rid of me. Had an absolute blinder. Next day, dragged into the office. So the people on the other side was Southgate. He's now the England manager. Bosnich in goals. McGrath, Milosevic, Dwight York is the team we're playing against. So I'm speaking to the boys on the phone in Oz, and they go, if you get a chance, give Bosnich one, will you? Give Bosnich one. And this is live at 250... 200 was it worth £250,000 it was for the club, right? There was snow everywhere. We were in the hotel the night before because they kept us at base and no one was messing up or getting out. Basically, in they went shoveling. The ones who helped the club shovel the ice off the. Obviously, it had underfloor heating on the soccer pitches, so the pitches were okay. It was the safety of the grandstands.
All right.
And then away we went, though. So what happens there is the game goes on. The ball comes up, Bosnich goes to get it like this. The big fella just gave him a good hip and shoulder. He's bit his lip, and I'm running back, and I've got it on video. The camera's zoomed in on me, and as I'm running back, I'm laughing. Because this was played, Glenn, worldwide. So I knew the boys were watching it back home, and I knew they would have been looking at me and going, the big fellas just go, Bosnich won. Well, I said, well, you told me to. So I said, I'd give you one. So away we went. So it was, so I'd had the nose. My career was taking a great, good turn. I got offered a loan spell to Burnley for £250,000, which back then was probably 600,000.
Yeah.
Good opportunity. Howard Kendall, he didn't really want me to go. They offered me a year. I knew I'd get more funds, more money, more opportunities at Burnley, big club. And 88th minute, little fella comes up, hits me, but cheekbone smashed in 1, 2, 3, 4 places. Cheekbones down here. So that was the end of that. So you talk about luck, right time, right place, wrong time, right place.
Yep.
There's your downfall. So you get to a point, Glenn, you go, well, any chance of throwing me a bit of luck, big fella up there? I just want a little bit. But it makes you stronger.
Yeah.
Makes you weak, makes you stronger. So I end up being out of the game. They operated, put a pin in up here, pulled the cheekbone up, and 6 weeks later I was back on the track. So that's England. I'm at Burnley. That was back at Sheffield United. And then obviously from there I went to Oldham. Done well at Oldham. Double hernias, Achilles scraped. Normal injuries for sports people. You're pushing your body to a couple of knees, scraped and that. So surgery hasn't been anything different. And then Northampton Town. Northampton Town's the big one. That changed the life. It changed me forever.
Yep.
So Northampton, I got a £100,000 move to Northampton Town. And basically I played 10 games for them. So at training, we'd finished training, we're doing a bit of back four work. done well, scored in my debut against Bournemouth. Fantastic. Obviously, going in as club captain. So I was, coming out of Oldham Athletic. Oldham, I played there for 2 and a bit years. Played nearly 70, I think it was 76 games at Oldham in the first and second division. So it was good times. And at Northampton, at training, ball came in and I headed the ball. And the disc exploded. The disc exploded at training. I don't think you can see through here. The scar starts here and comes all the way here. They operated between Christmas and New Year. I wanted to hop on a plane and come home to see the family. Surgeon said, mate, one bad move. He said, you'll end up in a chair.
Right.
They end up operating. I had 22 staples around here. They operated and I was told I'd never play again. And the day of our car accident at 15, December the 1st, the day I got told and I read my MRI scans, December the 1st.
Oh, really?
You look at the way it works and how life goes and bits and pieces, mate. And December the 1st, I don't like December the 1st. So it's a hard day to swallow. It's a hard day to accept because that's when the life changed. So I knew I wouldn't play again, but I tried. I didn't want to say no. They tried to sack me, the club, because if you can't play, they only have to give you 6 months. I just signed a 2.5-year deal, which was worth £100,000 a year then.
Yeah.
So you look at that and you go, well, what I've lost and what I haven't done and what I could have and bits and pieces. So I rounded out for about 6 months. They tried to sack me. Where they fell short was my GP was the club doctor.
Oh, right.
So he couldn't tell them. But what happened was I had insurance. And I'll say this openly. I had a year's worth of pay insurance. They never took the policy out.
All right.
So 3 years. Matt, can you put the lights on, please, mate? Yeah. So 3 years it took me to get my money. Is that better, Glenn?
That's a lot better. I was going to say, put the lights on.
I thought I was good looking. You scared the shit out of me, mate. Come on.
Can you turn the lights back off?
Yeah, Matty, can you turn them off? It's scared everyone.
Everyone shit themselves now.
I think I have to.
Mate, you got that light right above your head. Looks like you're a superstar now.
It's shining on me. Come on. It's about time he shined on me, the big fella up there.
Yeah.
Is it okay? I'm going to move it.
Yeah. No, it's just fine, mate. I was only pulling your leg. It's okay.
At least someone is.
Right,
anyway, that's the...
Looks like we're going to go a bit overtime, but I don't think the viewers or people out there mind because look, I want to get into because this is part that's destroyed your career basically. I know, so I can.
This is where the tough gets This is where the tough gets going.
Yeah, so, and you've been a tough man, right? You come back, right, tail between the legs, realising that you're actually down in your dumps and everything like that. But, Dougie, you've never given up. Even though you're going through pain today and going through the operations and all that still today, you have never given up. That's another reason I wanted you on tonight, is to encourage the people out there that think their lives are ruined. Everything's going around. They can't go on anymore. I've had that many calls in the last few months about people that just cannot go on anymore. Boy, mate, you got to look at someone like you that is just keep getting up from battle to battle to battle.
There's always someone worse.
Yeah, agree with that one too.
And if you can get that into your mindset, don't get me wrong, mate, it doesn't always help. That dark tunnel's a dark tunnel.
Oh, absolutely.
And when you're in that dark tunnel, and I reckon I was probably there about, go over it quickly, came home, I've had 2 fusions in my neck, and I had a fusion in my back. And I'll be honest, mate, like I said to you this morning, I've got to have knee surgery. Knee surgery's going in next Thursday. I've got to have another neck surgery next year. They're going to cut through the back. And I've never heard my surgeon say this, but he actually said it's a very painful operation, Doug. And I looked at him and went, well, I'm used to that, aren't I? But he's never said that about my neck because he's already operated on my neck and my back. There's never been pain. So, you get down to, I wake up every day, Glenn, and this is the bits that I'll never forget my soccer career. It reminds me. I go to bed feeling okay and I wake up worse.
Yep.
And I won't swear, but you think, here we go again. What am I going to have for breakfast this morning? Am I going to have an Endone? Am I going to have a Target? Am I going to have a Lyrica? Or am I going to take the whole damn lot?
Yep.
I'm pretty good at the moment. I get nerve blocks, and people don't realise it's not just, it's more, I used to fly back to England to get some pain relief because they couldn't do it here in Australia. So financially, I don't get nothing off the soccer club. It all comes out of me.
Yeah.
I go to the doctors today to get 10 Endone because that's all they'll give you, 10.
Yep.
Red tape stuff, $82 later. I'll walk out of there. Cost me.
Yep.
You talk about financials, it gets you, beats you. Especially over the COVID, there'll be a lot of people out there struggling at the moment. There'll be a lot of people what's going on the last 6 months. You've got to find a positive.
You do.
You've got to find a positive. Anything you do, it's got to be a positive. People have got friends, and I'll say this, I had a bad day today. What triggered it off was something stupid. I lost a set of keys.
Yep.
It built me up to lose them set of keys, and the keys were the last one.
Yep. None.
And you think, and I said to my wife, I said, why? Why? But you know what? We're here on lease. We have one opportunity to make the best of what we've got. Let's make sure we do the best with what we've got. There's people out there. I had 2 phone calls today. I spoke to 2 mates, and I needed that.
Yeah.
You need that people around you. You've got to have that people that you've got when you're down. You've got to have, and some people don't have that though, you see. So for me, there's my positive. Can we talk? I'm good at talking about other people.
Yeah.
I ain't good talking about myself.
A lot of people
I know my pain, I know my anxiety, I know my depression, but I know what it is. So I'm fortunate. It doesn't always work, mate, because I know the pain. That's the pain. I wake up and take my tablets every day. Now, I look at what bored me today is the tablets making me memory go.
Yes.
Is it the medication for the last 20 years it's made my memory go? Is it the nerve that I got 2 injections in there last week that burned my 2 nerves in here at 70 degrees and 2 up in here like 2 weeks ago? Is that the mate with the occipital nerve because the pain comes in here behind the eye that gets me up here when I'm like that and I can't move my head? Or I spent 9 days in hospital with 5 epidurals in my back because I couldn't walk. Yeah. But you pick yourself up. Not fortunate. My brother's a partial paraplegic, but he walks. He walks. People wouldn't know. He broke his back in 4 places. So when I'm feeling down and shitful and feeling sorry for myself, I think of him and it gets me through. And there's people always worse off out there. And you've got to remember there's people around you that care about you. You know what I mean? Don't you laugh at it. There is people that care about me, all right? But you talk about now, people talk about the whole, you go, well, I've got 2 beautiful boys.
Yep.
That's why I'm here.
But see, another thing is too, but Doug, although you're in a place where you've, like, let's take the key episode, right? For instance, right? The thing about it's not the key, it's the loss of the key. Right? And I was explaining this to a person the other day when it comes to arguments and fights and everything like that, right? The key is the actually
trigger point, the
trigger, but it's everything that's gone on before that, right? That is building up, and all of a sudden it becomes like a big explosion volcano that just erupts.
And anyone else, it's nothing.
That's right.
But to you, it's different.
That's right. But see, the thing about it is, Doug, look, we could sit here for another hour or so, me and you can talk about all this, but unfortunately, a lot of people want to go and watch NCSI like me.
Hey, he always gets the bad guy, so forget about it.
No, I know. But, mate, the thing about it is, Doug, all the trauma you've gone through, right, and all the pain and the agony, you have always got up and you've made a success of yourself, no matter you've pushed, like it's hard, mate, the pain. I know that myself because of my leg, right? The 9 operations on my left leg, I just live with the pain like you every day of the week. Yeah. I know. The thing about it is that you've got up. You own businesses, right? You've owned the Boost Juice now for how long you owned Boost Juice now?
We had the one in Frankston for 15 years. We got one in Doncaster for 10. We had salsas upstairs. At one stage, we had 5 businesses and 120 staff.
Yeah, that's right.
And people say to me, they go, why? I'm a driven person. I see opportunities, and that's what does drive me. You know, I'm not going to sit here and feel sorry for myself. And don't get me wrong. There is days I do. Don't get me wrong. And there's days we all do.
Yeah.
There's days when it just beats you and you go, what? But they're the days you got to grit your teeth. And that's when that resilient or that answer of, no, you're not going to beat me. Maybe that's the sportsman in me. Maybe it's the one that, you know what? I'll rest when I'm dead. That's what I've always said to myself. You know, I work my butt off. And when I go for a rest, I have an operation.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
People were saying when I was having those heart attacks, anytime you have a rest plan, it's when you're having a heart attack, you're in hospital.
And that's what we do.
But that's it.
You know what I mean?
But see, we're tarred with that brush, right? No matter what our adversaries are, we always look, there's someone worse. And that's what I do with our fishing and this show, Frankston Community Connect. And now that, with young Hannah Swinnerton who's watching, she loves what you're talking about. She said, powerful and inspiring story, right?
Thanks, sweetheart. Appreciate it.
And Hannah, she's got her own demons and battles, but she set up young people with a purpose because that's what we do, right? That's just us, Dougie, right? Doesn't matter how, mate, if I rang you today, you going through pain and everything like that, you'd be there to talk to me. Right?
And that's when you talk around that's the character we are.
That's it.
But is that, I'm sure there's characters all over the world, but has that had something to do with our upbringing, about the morally and the respect and the people, like friendships and the people we care about? Because anyone out there, don't get me wrong, there might be the percentage of nil support out there, but we've got people to talk to. There's always someone to pick the phone up. You know what I mean? There's always, mate said to me today, he said, mate, why didn't you ring me? He rang me. I don't know if he knew, whatever, he rang me. And I said, mate, he said, you okay? I said, no, I'm not.
Yep.
And I spoke to him openly, and he turns it in, and it's just hearing someone's voice is sometimes enough to go, you know what? And I've got out of it. I've worked out of it. And I'm talking as we're speaking now. This is probably the best thing. I was going to cancel. Now, you wouldn't know I was going to cancel.
That's why I kept hassling you. I knew you were going to cancel. I could feel it. I could feel it in my bones.
And sometimes it's good to get it off your chest. And, we're not macho, mate. I'll kick the shit out of anyone.
Yeah.
I'll probably, you know what? They'll probably kick the shit out of me. But you know what? I'll have a go and I won't go down without a fight.
We're both tough.
But what I'm saying is you don't have to be a tough bloke or a fighter to have problems. Like, I'm successful, I'm fortunate, and I'll say fortunate, even though Boost Juice is closed, it's cost me an arm and a leg at the moment because we're shut because of Biggies. Am I allowed to call him Biggies? Yeah, Andrews.
Yeah,
anyway, I don't like him. We won't talk about him. I don't like him. But anyway, but what I'm saying is you've got to keep going. You've got to keep driving. You've got to keep pushing because that's what we need.
You certainly do. But, although you've gone down, mate, I can remember the times, when you were actually coaching Springvale. Right? We used to have some fun out there, right? And the way you treated, and I could see you in pain, right, back there, when you're out there coaching and things like that. But
you probably seen the game better than me because I reckon I had about 20 target in me, 4 Valium, 6 Endone. Them boys were superstars.
That's what we were saying earlier on too, mate, when I used to look after, because, I was doing security and bodyguarding as well, and when I was looking over Kath and Kim's, and I sneak over to your place because you live opposite them, basically, the house. And I come over there, and I was supposed to be over looking after the house and them.
We were back of my boat. But going on that, Glenn, and that's where I was going before the bullhead went to the right. I was having a bit of trouble, but the materialistic things are fantastic. The sign of depression is also buying. Because it makes people happy. You purchase some of the things, the materialistic things. See, people look at me and go, and I'll look at myself here, and this is analysing myself. I've got a lovely home. I've got 2 beautiful kids. I've got a beautiful wife that still loves me. How, I don't know, but she still does, it's a bonus. Batting above the average.
Listen, she can come to one of my mental health clinics fishing.
Don't, she won't come back. She'll work it out. She'll work out that I'm another.
We already said that she bats me.
But she's. But what I'm saying is, and it goes back to big tough blokes can open up and talk. But see, people look at me and they'd go, "What's he got to worry? Why? Why would he have depression? Why would he have anxiety? Why is he stressing? Why is he this? Why is he that?" You don't know people what they're thinking and how they are. And it has came, let's be fair, the last few years it's getting more and more out there, mate. Are you okay is the words that people are saying.
Yep.
A lot of people won't answer that.
No. You're 100%.
A lot of people won't answer for whatever reasons.
Yep.
Hands up. I'm one of them.
Yeah.
I'm on here talking to you, open it up, because if I can help someone, that's what I want to do.
Yeah. Well, I think blokes like us are exactly like that. People have been having a go at me lately because I don't. Well, look, this morning, once again, even doing this promo, you could, someone said to me, Glenn, I could hear in your voice that you really didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
Right. And, it's just because we're tough and strong and we can, stand up toe to toe with most people, doesn't mean that we don't suffer.
No.
Right. We've got to be chameleons in a lot of ways. I say this to a lot of people, that I've got to be a chameleon. You've got to be a chameleon because you're a boss as well. So you've got you've got to, run your businesses and everything like that. And, mate, I take my hat off to you because sometimes I think to myself, when over the times I know you and look at those Facebook pages, you're stuck in the hospital with all the bloody tubes hanging out of you again. And I say, how's the prick to handle this? Oh, sorry, ladies.
No political you weren't talking about me, were you?
No political correctness, Dougie, about me whatsoever. Everyone knows that.
But it's what's the positive that comes out of that? I need to get back on my feet. I need to get my hands dirty. I need to get back in there. And I need to get back in there. It might not be work. It might be life. It might be relationship. It might be time with the kids. It might be... See, people don't realise my kids have never been on my shoulders ever in my life.
Yep.
That's a simple little thing.
Yep.
But for me, it hurts me every day.
Yep.
Because they can't throw them in the swimming pool, throw them in the beach. They've never been thrown.
Yep.
Don't, by the way, don't do that.
I know.
Kids.
Do you want me to come around and throw them for you?
Yes. But you know what? And my kids love it when I've had mates and they've done it. And I look at it and it breaks my heart.
Yeah, I can understand.
Because I look at it and go, they've missed out on that. Don't get me wrong. They won't miss out on love.
No.
They won't miss out on love because love's for free. My nan used to say to me, treat people the way you'd like to be treated.
That's right.
Mission. Is that the POM coming out in this? Is that the respect, the manners and the morals? Because that's what is in life. If you've got three of them things, I think you have half a chance. With depression, anxiety, I think you need to find, I think I'm fortunate in a way, it doesn't always win, mate, but I know what causes it. The people with the chemical imbalance and other stuff, that's a battle. That's a real battle. It's a real dark battle because they won't know. I look at myself in the mirror and I know it's my pain.
Yeah. No.
You know what I mean? So I can look at it and I can basically look at it in the eye. A little fluff ball. Looks like your hair.
I look like my mo.
So everyone has a story out there, Glenn. Everyone has the demons, and it's something that needs to be discussed, and people need. And I'm fortunate, and I'll say this: I have good people around me, mates, and I put that down to the Pines.
Oh, absolutely.
I've got mates there. I can pick the phone up today. They can pick the phone up. We might not speak for 6 weeks because they're busy, or I'm busy. I'm doing this, or I'm doing that because I'm coaching the kids with my soccer. With the kids, I'm still involved in the game. Mate, it kills me. It kills me. I finish work and I go, here we go again.
Yep.
I do it. I dig deep. Why? Because the kids need me to.
Yep, that's right.
I've got something to share. I've got to give them what I know, my experience, because that's all we pass on as teachers. That's all we do as parents. But if you've got good people around you, there's Janine Ellis, boost owner.
Yep.
Jeff got up one day at I don't know where we were at a conference, and he turned around and he said, Doug's just bought his third stall. He didn't know I had the chemical businesses, and he said what he has done, he's got a management team or people around him. He's built a team around him, and that is with life as well, not just business.
Yes.
Good people around you, mate, you'll take that positive out of them. You'll take that feeling, that vibes, and you'll grow within that vibes, mate. You'll keep, you'll get yourself up and every day. You talk to someone and they're down in the dump, you've got to pick yourselves up. You want that positive. You've got to find that positive all the time. And you're not always going to get it. There's got to be some positive out there to keep you striving and keep you driving.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree. But, we're nearly got to sign out for, hold on for a sec. But, one thing that, right, because, Right, I've been in Frankston since '85. Right, so I've not been at Pines, but I've been involved with the Pines for as you know, as a VP of the Pines Soccer Club myself. Right, Clinton, my son played for him.
I've
Right,
got the coaching.
yeah, and mate, and I played a season for a season or so with the Condors, and mate, that was funny.
Hey, how many yellow cards and red cards did you get?
Plenty. Mate, I've gone on the first because I'm a rugby league player.
So you just took them out.
And mate, and that was the time that I was on the board of the VSF as well, right? And the first game I've gone out to play, right? The referee's there. All of a sudden, I'm at the front, righto. Anyway, I've gone smash, and I've laid out the defender. Right? And the ref comes running over and he says, Glenn, this is not rugby league, this is soccer.
The ball looks the similar. It's okay.
I
love it.
You're not
son.
supposed to kick the ball.
But you know what, though, mate? There's been some fun times. You know, I look back at some memories. I've had the scrapbook out, and you call the demons. I pulled the scrapbooks out. I've got them on the tennis table. Kath and I went through them for 2 hours. I'd had enough. It's a lot of, will I ever get over losing my career? And that's the part that really reached to me. A lot of people, I went to England, a lot of people didn't think I was good enough. A lot of people thought, you went there because of whatever reason. I only played for Victoria because of my old man. Dad was involved with the FFV, the same as you. And that's why I wanted to prove people wrong. And I think I still want to prove people wrong. And that's probably why I never stop. And that's, is that the sportsman in? Is it the hunger? Is it the drive? Is it just to stick it where the sun don't shine? Because that's what I like to do. If people say, no, it's not in the vocab, let's find a way to do it. And I think if everyone can just find a way to deal with it or find a way to do it with support, doctors, medication, find what works for you.
That's
exactly.
exactly.
It doesn't always, what works for me won't work for you, and what works for you won't work for me, and vice versa. Yeah. And with good people around and people opening up and talking about it, I think it's the way that there's a lot of things going on in life. Life's tough.
Yep.
Life's tough. Life's tough. So I think hopefully out of this, mate, we can change someone. If I'm always here, if you want help when you're going fishing with them blokes, happy to come along, mate.
Mate, I'd love to get you to come down and meet a lot of them when we get back out of this COVID. I know. But look, Doug, you're 100% right. And my motto is changing lives one life at a time.
Yep.
Right. And like when you look at the Pines Soccer Club for the last 50 odd years, how many lives and young people like you that the Pines Soccer Club has changed their lives around? Yes, you probably will regret the day that you lost your career. But the problem is, it's not a problem. What's happened out of that is that your loss of experience and your loss, right, what it's done is taught you to be strong and still go on. But it's also become a testimony to the people around you, right, that'll actually...
Yeah, he agrees.
All right, the dog's telling me to shut up and get out of here.
He agrees.
No, but your experience that you'll be able to use, right, to help others, and that's the great thing. And mate, we've just got to sing the song for the Pines, the soccer club, but also just the Pines themselves, right, because it is a great place. Yeah, it's brought up, like there's been bad times and everything like that, but mate, the end of the day, there's a lot of good stuff that's come out of the Pines, and there's a lot of things that'll come. Yeah. Hey, listen, there's houses in there now that are worth $1 million.
Yeah, I know. Shouldn't have sold one.
Yeah, no, the Wright brothers, Ash. Ash is a mate of mine. He was smart. He bought 4 houses in there for about 30 odd grand.
I think I'm the only bloke that lost money out of the Pines. I bought it off Mum and Dad for $100,000. Yeah. They were moving. I bought up my mum and dad. They moved to Frankston South, and I stayed in there. From there, I went to England, and I sold it for 96. 5 months later, it sold for 160.
Oh, you got stuck then?
I got well and truly wedged. But you know what, though, Glenn? It's a great night. There's some great people at that soccer club at the moment. They're trying to get it back. Squizzy, he's doing a great job down there, trying to get that lifted the community, Stevie Spencer. There's old people that's in there. There's Lee Davies. There's other people that are in there.
Yeah, Hoggo's still there.
Hoggo's back there. We hit the bar there, it'll be okay. But the people there's a lot of people there with grassroots that have gone back there because we care. Now, I'm involved with the footy club. I go and watch them there. Soccer club's coming back. No doubt I'll be involved with the boys down there this year with the sponsorship if I can help them. Obviously, it might be $1, might be $5, but if you can help the club or we can help whatever, that's what we can do. It's just, but there's other people that need help. But you know what? Forget the financial side. Can we be there to help them with a shoulder? Can we be there with a voice? I've done a talk at Pines Footy Club 2 years ago with Paddy, just about the players, and I call it, if you can look at yourself in the mirror and say that you've done the best you possibly can, you will never regret it. Now, I look back at my career and people talk about, well, why didn't you play for Australia? Yeah, there's your politics. Backhand paper bags were going on. So European passports when you needed it. So it's funny because I found it's in the Soccer International. I found the magazine, 1997. There's a 3-page write-up. And it says The Forgotten Aussie. So you read that and the anger comes back. Yeah. So as much as it's therapy looking at it, there's also, but I'm 51. I think it's time I swallowed me, not pride, but say, you know what? My kids have never seen any of it. Dad's always say, can you get your trophies out of the roof, Dad? Let's have a look at them. They're in the roof.
Mate, I'm going to drop you down for a minute, right? And I'm going to bring something up.
You see what that is, Glenn?
Huh?
You see what that is? That's the journey.
That's it.
That's the journey. See the bottom one? Frankston Pines.
Frankston, yeah, that's it.
Frankston Pines, Dufton, Heidelberg, Sheffield. I left Plymouth and Burnley out because they were loan spells, North Oldham and Northampton Town. Yeah. That was the journey.
Just quick. Well, look, we'll ask this question. Vicky just brought it up. Vicky Bates. Hey, Doug, where are you when it comes to local soccer? He can't play anymore. He can't.
You know how hard it is to pick the cones up and put them down when you've got an L5S1 Fusion?
No, mate. Well, that's why you have a lackey. Where's Tommy?
Where I am I had 2 years. I've been in the, long story short, Langwarrin, Mount Eliza, because I obviously got involved with the club there, tried to help the committee. Charlie Platt said to me, you've done well, Doug. You've shared your knowledge around the Morning Peninsula. So I've been to Langy, I've been to Langwarrin, I've been to Mount Eliza for a few years, and I've coached my sons with my kids. I've done 4 or 5 years of senior level in the FFV, MPL 1. And from there, I've done, we have Fitzroy, Springvale, Heidelberg, MPL 1, Preston Macedonia, Richmond, and then obviously with the kids, went to Mornington. Had a great run there, 3 years. And it's not about winning, it's about seeing the kids develop. And they went from 4th. Squizzy's boy was there, DT, great player. Went from 4th to 2nd, and then we won the whole Victorian community, the whole lot in Victoria. So that was fantastic. It was, Vic. From there, I went to the next level, which is MPL, which is part of the I suppose, pathway you'd like to say for juniors. And I took a lot of them team. The hardest thing was letting some of them players go because other boys came in that were better players. They normally get letters. I wouldn't do it on letters. I went banging on the doors and spoke to them and their parents face to face why they didn't make it, and don't give up, because as we know, no's not in the vocab. And if you want something bad enough, you can roll the sleeves up and you can do it. So had 2 years, and then last year with the COVID, never got to start, but I was at Dufton, back at Dufton, so doing the under 18s. And this year, we'll wait and see. There's a couple of job offers on the table, but we'll see what's going to happen. And it's still the kids, not about me. I won't say, I will say it. Do I love the game? No. Why do I do it? Kids.
Yep, true. Hey, listen, before we rock up, ask how big his feet.
Listen, boom, boom. Oh, boom, boom.
Mate, you've heard the cocky on the shoulder. Look at this.
Oh, look at that, magic that is, Glenn. Now, my feet, I'm 6'3". Actually, I got measured today. I've shrunk because of my 3 disc fusions. I'm down to 187, I think she measured me today. Had the blood pressure and everything done. So, went in. So, imagine a bloke at 6'3". What size feet do you think you should have, Glenn?
About
10, 11,
no,
12? What do you
14.
reckon?
About a 14.
Yeah, well, I'm about an 8.5. I can slide myself into a little 8.
Oh, you're joking.
Don't say nothing, Rusty. Small feet. Yeah, I know where you're going with it.
Yeah, so
Big hands.
Hey, Rusty, I was about to say the same thing.
But boys, and you know what the best thing about it, Glenn? And
What's
I
that,
mean,
mate?
there's me mates from there. I've known Ken since we were 4 or 5 years old, right? If I ever came back a big time Charlie from overseas, they would have belted it out of me. They would have took the piddle out of me. And that's what mates are. You know, they are friends. It doesn't matter who, what, and where. That's what friendships are about. You know, and I value my mates. My mates know how I value my friends, and I'm still here. I've still got the old fella upstairs. Still puts bricks walls in front of me, mate. And I keep trying to knock them down, or get around them, or over the top, or underneath. I'll find a way. He'll beat me eventually. When he does, the boys will have a good party on my behalf.
Mate, I'm too cantankerous to go there at the moment. And after 3 heart attacks, I'm still here.
Yeah, I know. Are you having a bourbon tonight, or are you going to have a red?
I might have a rest. Anyway, listen, I'm sorry, Doug. I'd love to sit here for another hour or so. Anyway, don't take off yet. I'll say goodnight to everyone. Right, but it's been great having you on. I think that a lot of people have listened. I know that not everyone stayed here all night, but a lot of people have listened. A lot of young people have actually been listening to you too. I know of quite a number of the names that were there. And the likes of Squizzy, righto, and the others there that I've seen too, right? Mate, I've been giving these new candidates a hard time about the sporting facilities and no disability, toilets in there, so I can't bring our crews down there and everything like that. So I still bat for the Frankston Pines as well. So, but it's important to keep that club going, right? So I'm going to put you down for a minute. Not put you down. I'm going to minimise you.
Hey.
Right. Listen, everyone. I know we've gone way over time, but how great to have a bloke like Dougie around, right? And actually tell us his story and what he's gone through. He's gone through heaps, and he still fights in there. And I think if there's a message in there, it doesn't matter how bad and how low you think you are. There are people worse off than you, but you need to be strong. If you need help, right, Frankston Community Connect, I'm only a message away, right, and I will be in contact with you. I've got organisations that can help you, right? You don't have to do it on your own, all right? So anyway, everyone, I'm going to say goodnight. I'll go and talk some crap with Dougie before I send him to bed. Right, and he has the time he's had a couple more pills for painkiller and has a bourbon, he'll be floating off anyhow. So anyway, good night, everyone, and we'll see you next Tuesday. All right, here we go. Wait, come up.